Yesterday you spoke out about the mosque at Ground Zero. It's become a very contentious issue. It's also in some areas a neighborhood issue where people don't want mosques built in their neighborhood. Obviously a backlash since 9/11. Where does religious freedom, the line between religious freedom and concern about cultivating terrorism begin?
Right. I think the proposal to build a mosque effectively in Ground Zero is entirely based not on religion, but on the motivations of the imam who's in charge of this proposed synagogue. Proposed mosque. You have a situation here where the imam, Ralph, has made incredibly inflammatory comments. He has, for example, talked about Hamas and refuses to condemn it, refuses to characterize it as a terrorist organization. Here is somebody who has said that Osama bin Laden was effectively created in the U.S. and there's almost a moral equivalency between what the terrorists have done and the killings that have occurred in our own backyard with U.S. policy. Now, this is not somebody that I view as a bridge builder, somebody who's talking about peace. And so he's talking about a $100 million mosque being built literally 2 blocks away from Ground Zero, the worst terrorist attack in the history of America. And you've got to ask, who's funding this and what are their motivations? Who's behind this? And he refuses to say. So what I'm saying is, until we find out who is funding this mosque and what their motivations are, what they hope to accomplish with this, then we should not be going forward with this particular mosque.
In other neighborhoods, Sheepshead Bay, Staten Island, these mosques, are people being intolerant when they don't want it in the neighborhood?
Well, I think it's on a case-by-case basis. You know, I think in general, this is a nation that has been built on religious tolerance, and we want to protect that, and we certainly don't want a faith excluded from a neighborhood simply because it is shared by a minority of people within the community. So I'm strongly in favor of protecting minority rights. I think what I'm talking about here in the Ground Zero Mosque is something entirely different. This is a public safety concern. Just as I spoke out against the civilian trial of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in a downtown New York courthouse, I thought that was outrageous. You know, these are areas that where I disagree with Andrew Cuomo. He refused to take a position on this. Eric Holder, the U.S. Attorney General, supports it. I strongly disagree with that. And the idea of a Ground Zero mosque being spearheaded by somebody who I think has sympathies for terrorists, in my view, because I think Hamas is absolutely a terrorist organization, that's sufficient to trigger, in my mind, more questions about who's behind this. And I think the people of New York, the people of the surrounding area deserve to feel and to be safe.